We got Seth Dillon with the Babylon Bee, and obviously Tim Pool, obviously the famous YouTuber here, podcaster. He's a party to a lawsuit in California.
Ooh.
They're
Wait,
passed
Tim
the
Pool
bill.
is part of the lawsuit?
Yeah, Tim Pool. I saw it in the write up with Seth Dillon and the Babylon Bee put
Oh,
out,
snap.
and it said Tim Pool was a party to it down at the very bottom of
Okay,
that story.
I'm gonna read through this. Babylon Bee sues California AG to stop social media censorship law. They get it wrong on purpose. Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill last year to limit hate speech on social media. Of course, we all know hate speech could be just about anything. Babylon Bee Seth Dillon, who you guys know, he's been on the show, revealed in a Substack article on Wednesday that his site, among others, is suing California Attorney General Rob Bonta to prevent the enforcement of a social media law passed last year. In September, California successfully passed Bill AB 587, which requires social media companies to submit reports to the state by January 2024 regarding their terms of service, content categories, data relating to violations of terms of services, and guidelines on addressing violations on their sites. Although Governor Gavin Newsom celebrated the bill at the time for providing much needed transparency and accountability to social media. Is that so like the state can enforce, like what would be the point? Is that so this that the local level can enforce basically hate speech censorship? Like what would be the point
Yeah,
of this bill?
the way I understand, they submit tickets. They like flag this, flag that. And then this is hate speech and that's hate speech, and then they want the social media company to take it down or restrict it or what have you.
Right. Right. Yeah,
And
D.
like California's been sued before. I mean, Harmy Dillon has sued them for 2020 election collusion. The state California allegedly participated in a scheme to shut down election uh, criticism. So
Yeah. They're claiming it's just about transparency. That's not true. This is a
oh
censorship
yes,
bill, not a
right.
transparency bill, Dylan wrote.
No, they want the right to interfere in the election while saying that they're fighting election interference. That's basically what they want.
Yeah, it's
All
fun.
that.
It must be fun to be able to do and say whatever you want. He cited a quote from Newsom reading, California will not stand by as social media is weaponized to spread hate and disinformation that threaten our communities and foundational values as a country. Ugh, they just like, they take words and phrases and they twist them. It's very sneaky.
Well,
Dylan
I love
also
what
laid,
Rand Paul said, at the Senate hearing. He was like, "The government has been the biggest spreader of
mm,
misinformation about certain topics that there was in this
yeah,
country," and he
I
was
don't hear any
spot on.
apology. Yeah.
Nope.
Dylan also laid out his argument for why efforts by big tech to suppress hate and disinformation are often misleading. It's a good thing when people are allowed to speak freely. It's a bad thing when big tech and the government work together to decide what we're allowed to say. Why? Because they often get it wrong. Even worse, they get it wrong on purpose. As I said in my testimony before Congress, censorship guards the narrative, not the truth. In fact, it guards the narrative at the expense of the truth, Dylan wrote. And this is, of course, after we find out the millions of dollars that Facebook and Zuckerberg, donated directly to the Democratic Party in the last election.
Oh, with
So,
what was it, 400,000,000? They had
oh,
the Civic Integrity
ridiculous
Project
amount.
and
Yeah.
the Zuckerberg boxes and so on. I mean, just that's election interference. It absolutely is.
With all
But they
the money, it's like, "Zuckerberg, go to take yourself to a tanning bed a couple of times. Get some color, take a weekend, take a little vacay, get some
grab a
vitamin D."
personality while you're at
Yes.
it.
Bleep, bloop. Yeah, upload a personality into that
Yes.
robot body of yours. He continued, in today's post truth, anti reality world, describing a male person as a man is considered hateful conduct. If tech is tasked by the state with eliminating hateful or misinformative content, they'll stuff everything they don't like into these categories, including opinions, jokes, and even factual statements. We've already experienced it firsthand. We need laws that prohibit viewpoint discrimination, not laws that compel it under threat of penalties and under the guise of good faith content moderation. The 31-page complaint alleged that the law could potentially violate both the First and 14th Amendment. You know that the 14th Amendment really doesn't get enough airtime. I couldn't even tell you what
Well,
it
I
is.
mean, the left throws that into everything, and the 14th Amendment. That's usually when you see it's, like, overly broad, or
Okay,
something like this. It's some kinda legally
catch all.
simplistic sort of reason, like, "Well, just throw the 14th there too. Why
Yeah.
not?"
AB 587 does not have any legitimate sweep because its unconstitutional applications outweigh the limited number of applications to cases of speech which fall outside the scope of the First Amendment. The 14th Amendment prohibits state laws that either do not contain enough specificity and direction for a person or ordinary intelligence to know what is required or do not provide explicit standards. What the fuck does that even mean? Uh, AB
It's like
587.
basically basically what it means is they want to leave California wants to leave itself so much discretion to call anything hate speech that they
Okay.
hate. They're woke leftists and they hate your speech, then it's hate speech. That's kind of
Wow.
where what I get from that.
Yeah, whatever they say. AB 587 includes numerous broad, vague, and ambiguous terms, included but not limited to by definitions of terms like hate speech, racism, extremism, radicalization, disinformation, misinformation, and foreign political interference. Yeah, probably they'll add in the presence of an American flag,
We've seen that before.
talk of the.
Ron Paul bumper stickers,
Yeah,
anything, could be anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally they can't stand the sight of even a steak, talk of meat,
Right, a
not
steak.
allowed. Yeah, no steaks, no guns, no flags, no women that look like women. All that is hate speech. The social media network, Minds and Tim Pool are also included as plaintiffs for the lawsuit. Though Dylan was uncertain about the future of the case, he hoped it would, provide an obstacle for the law. We're asking a federal district court to block enforcement of the law, Dylan wrote. Whoa. I don't know. This looks like clickbait. I think that's it.
Probably
Sometimes
is.
it's confusing to read these and I'll get so distracted. I'll be like, ooh, Bill Hader's dating Ali Wong. And then I'll get
Yeah, right,
completely
right.
off track.
Well, the Daily Mail's the
I
worst
just
about
read that.
that. I mean, Daily Mail.
Ah, yeah, you get bombarded
Try to pull horn dog
with ads
guys
and
to the
then
side. It's like, okay, God. I'm reading this story. Jesus, stop it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then all my targeted ads are outing me, like everything I'm shopping for. It's like, okay, I feel so vulnerable.
Oh, man.
Ooh, thank you, Ben
Well, this is
Hennigar, for
so
becoming
it
a new
seems,
member.
Chrissy, that California just wants to legalize censorship. That's kind of what this bill is all about. And I recently wrote something on Substack. I don't know if you saw it or not, but basically the State Department, Department of Defense, they set up this little, this digital misinformation cloud, and they took like basically a couple of these. I don't know if you've heard about them, but NewsGuard and Digital Misinformation Index, and actually taxpayer
Yeah.
money went to that, the DMI one, and they set up this little shop. Uh, and it was run by a former intelligence officer, like Christina Nemmer, and she,
Is that
eh,
this article right here?
yeah, the top one, yeah, this one. So this group, essentially, it started off as a military and government operation to flag disinformation, so called, and they contracted out with this digital media index, digital misinformation index, and it's also NewsGuard, which I've run into. And these guys are partisan, hack networks, as even the Federalists pointed this out as well. And they expanded this out with this Silicon Valley engagement initiative, and they basically roped in big tech advertisers, and to put your name on this shit list basically. And they put you on there and they disseminate it within the government. And while I looked at, I dug, and I found that the US Census Bureau, the Congress, um, a number of government agencies, foreign governments, the European Union, Estonian government. I don't know why Estonia was so interested in this.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, I haven't heard from them
what
in
is that?
a long
United
time.
Kingdom. Like, I guess they care of like conservative bloggers with unorthodox opinions. Apparently that's a big interest issue in Estonia. But they put you on this list and they disseminate it out there and they make your life miserable. And it's just their opinions. Like I've had one of them come at me and like, what about this story? What about that story? And I'm like, are you my editor now? Like,
Huh.
who the hell are you? And what do you want from me? And I would just say, like, I was just baffled. Like, why, what do you want from me? This is my company. It's not your company. You're not my editor. And I live in a free country and I have First Amendment protections. And, basically in a marketplace of ideas, it's your reputation that, you have to uphold as a journalist, if you're right or if you're wrong. And sometimes you don't know right away, and you have exclusive information, or you've done, analysis, statistical analysis, all this other stuff that these yahoos don't do. They're just getting their marching orders from Dr. Fauci or whoever, and they just do what they're told. They just doing what they're told. You know, and so, anyways, these outfits, and then if you go into further, that talks about at least 5 different contractors that work directly with the federal government, like Stanford Internet Observatory, Washington State had a outfit, Graphica. Um, there were a number. There
Wow.
were like 5 of them that just blatantly unconstitutional. And my question, Chris, is like, what do you do when you elect politicians that take an oath to the Constitution and just refuse to uphold it? Like, what do you do with these people? Like,
And
you,
when does the
did they just
change take
oh,
place? Is
go ahead.
is anyone who even enters into politics a slimy greaseball that is just waiting for their cut of whatever?
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good point, because they me they're just corrupt. Like, they're corporate backers. They finance their campaigns, and they get their staffers give them their marching orders, and like, here, do this, do that. In some cases, don't get me wrong, there's good politicians and bad ones, varying degrees, obviously, but it very much seems like that, where it's just the corporations they just want to have their puppets in office at this point. They almost it seems to be a trade-off where you go into office, you get filthy rich one way or the other,
yeah.
either through revolving door or some kind of, I mean, look no further than Biden. And it looks like our rights are completely negotiable. It's just
Yeah.
we saw it since like 2020. It's just our if big pharma doesn't like your rights and it's hurting their profits, then your rights can go out the window.
When did
Um,
you start seeing this, I don't know, like a very noticeable increase in censorship for you? Was it Trump getting into office? Was it
Yeah, I think that was
Obama?
the initial triggering point, because, like, I remember I was, like, doing viral media, with IJR, like, Benny Johnson was there, a few other viral media experts. Like, we hit when Trump got into office, we hit that hard, and we had, like, so much traffic. Like, we had so many, like, unique readers, like, tens of millions of unique readers, like 30 to 40 million unique readers. We were competing with, like, the big boys, like New York Times, all of them, you know? And, I think, like, in the next 2 or 3 months, Facebook started rolling out. I know Zuckerberg got political pressure. He just decided that his platform had helped Trump get elected, and it didn't sit well at the cocktail parties that he went to.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
so he started rolling this incremental censorship up,
Meeting with the
and
FBI, yeah.
well, yeah, there's that stuff too, but he started throttling call it organic feed, and you would pay a little bit to get like your boost, but he kept on increasingly make it difficult for you to make money, and so eventually we had cut staff and pare down, and you know it was that year 2017 that was kind of the beginning of the end for a lot of the
Wow.
Facebook viral media.
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Come and get it. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.